Hey guys, welcome back to Legacy Gold here. What we wanted to do real quick is I just had something happen the other weekend. I was at a restaurant, I was by myself, and the bartender asked me what I did for a living, and I told him that I was a chiropractor, and immediately he said, Eastern medicine, I think that we're actually past that. Just now that we have Western medicine, we don't have to believe in hocus pocus, and he was just kind of beating up chiropractic and actually just really being a jerk. And most of the time I wouldn't say anything. I think I had maybe a couple drinks, and he kept kind of pressing me on it, and I was like, what is your brain control? And got him to say everything. And so I asked the guy, I said, well, what if I broke your neck? Because that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to reach across the bar, I wanted to break the guy's neck. And he didn't really want to answer the question, and he said, well, it'd probably kill me. And I said, yeah, it'd kill you. Well, what if those bones in your neck were just slightly out of alignment? What would that do? Yeah, you'd just be a little less dead. And he said, that's one hell of a way to put it. And it stopped him dead in his tracks.
Yeah, and so, we kind of laughed about this, and I said, we should shoot a video on this, because I remember early on in practice, if somebody's like, well, I'm not sure, they ask you a real pedestrian or docile question, then it's fun to answer those. But if somebody said, you know what, I think chiropractic's bullshit, that hurt my wife, and I think it's terrible. Or, you know what, chiropractic's hocus pocus, I heard Joe Rogan say that, or, something like that. And somebody's kind of just real aggressive. They're just like, you know what, I call bullshit on all of it, and I don't believe chiropractic. I don't believe in that sort of stuff. What do you do at that point? And I think for a young doctor, or maybe somebody that's not great communication-wise, you do one of two things. You really only do one thing. You either get emotional and you fight back, and you're like, well, it's actually, and it's like you're defending a family member. And anytime you get emotional, it just ends in an argument.
Yeah.
Or you just grab your beer and walk off and say, that guy's a jerk. And so at the end of the day,
sometimes is the best approach.
Maybe it is, but I'm kind of, I think if you're really comfortable and confident in what chiropractic is, and you can engage them in a conversation that's not emotional, that 9 times out of 10 you can win that battle. And I don't mean win that battle like we're trying to get a new patient. We're not taking an angle here like we're trying to get this guy to make an appointment. We're just trying to get him to basically, and this is a total jerk thing of me, but basically admit they're wrong. Because I have that need in me. If somebody's going to say something stupid, I just don't know that we can tolerate that. I don't know that I'm going to be able to drink this beer while you're being stupid. Like, I'm going to have to make sure that you understand what you said is wrong, but I'm going to do it in such a polite way that you like me when we're done.
Yeah, that's an important thing. Absolutely. Yeah. You're not trying to get into a pissing contest with them or anything like that. But like Dr. Braddock just said, if you have a strong certainty in chiropractic, and you're a good communicator, and you're able to speak chiropractic easily and effectively, you're going to be able to talk to them in such a way that they realize that, what they're saying is based off of nothing. Like you hear Dr. Chestnut say, well, I'm so glad to hear that. Where's your research? Where did you read that? Like, how did you get that information? Who informed you of that? So I think it's a valid thing to make sure that you kind of already know what you're going to say if you get approached that way, and not try to come up with your response on the fly.
That and being a good Socratic questioner, because if they say, I think this, and now it's your turn to talk, and you say, well, I think it's actually this. At the end of the day, that person has to either say, okay, I'm wrong and you're right based on what I heard, or you get them to tell themselves that they're wrong using Socratic questioning. So if we stop the video now, I think the first question is going to be, sounds great, what's that look like? So Dr. Clay and I are just kind of off the cuff. We've decided we're going to wing this video, but we're just going to kind of role play a little bit back and forth to kind of give you a couple of different scenarios.
You want me to be the patient?
Sure.
All right. Or the person in the public. I went to a chiropractor a long time ago, and it was the worst experience ever, and I knew right away that chiropractic was total fraud.
Yeah. Man, it's amazing how often I hear that. How long ago was it that you went?
About 20 years ago, and I knew then I'd never go back.
Yes. Tell me what happened. That sounds terrible.
They pushed on my back. I told them I didn't want my neck adjusted, and the next thing I know, they're adjusting my neck, and I mean, didn't explain anything to me, and I hurt worse after I left, and it was just a total joke.
You know, and that's one of the things I hate, is that there's things like that are happening out there where people don't fully understand what chiropractic is, because I bet at the end of the day, if you had to write out what a chiropractor does, you probably didn't have a very good definition of that.
I didn't like what they did.
You didn't like what they did, exactly. And man, I hate to hear that. But when you think about it, what's the smartest part of your whole body?
I don't know. I don't know what you're asking me.
What part of your body is the smartest part of the whole body? What gives you all the answers?
Brain.
Your brain. And so what does your brain actually do to communicate to the rest of the body? Like, you would agree that your stomach's controlled by your brain. Your big toe is controlled by your brain. Everybody knows that. It's not new. Everything in your whole body happens because your brain tells it what to do. Are we on the same page?
Yep.
Makes sense? So how does your brain communicate? What's connecting them? Nerves, yeah. I mean, you look in your office, all your appliances are wireless, right? But in your body, everything's hardwired. There is no such thing as wireless. The brain has a long skinny tail called the spinal cord that's in the spine, and nerves that come off of that to go to the organs, like your stomach and your big toe and stuff like that. So if your spine moves out of position and starts to choke that nerve, do you think that body has a better chance or worse chance of communicating?
Worse.
So let's just say it goes to your stomach, and the nerve that goes to your stomach has pressure on it because the bones misalign. Do you think that your stomach's going to be healthier or sicker over time?
Definitely going to get sicker.
What if it's the nerve that goes down in the back of your leg? Do you think you have a better chance of having sciatica than you would if it wasn't pressed on?
Yeah.
So, do you think the very best option in medicine these days, as far as we come, is to take a handful of pills to treat your stomach condition, or to give yourself an injection or pain medication to treat the sciatica, or to take the pressure off the nerve?
Take the pressure off the nerve.
Dude, everything we do is like the simplest, most straightforward thing. And so when a chiropractor makes an adjustment, which by the way should be comfortable, right, and it should be an enjoyable thing, not what you experience, and they take the pressure off your nerve, do you think your body's healthier or sicker because of it?
Healthier.
It's healthier. And that's all chiropractic is designed to do, is to relieve nerve pressure so the body has a chance to be healthy and function on its own, as close to 100% as possible. You were never told anything like that by a chiropractor?
Never said anything about that.
On behalf of him, I'll apologize, but I'll tell you, in our office, we're blessed to see 500-600 patients a week, all the way from the tiniest little newborn infants to 90-95-year-old patients. And we do it all for the same reason. They all enjoy their adjustment, they enjoy their experience, and they get healthier because of it. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Have you ever been to a bad mechanic?
Yep.
Did you quit taking your car to mechanics permanently?
No.
You ever been to a bad
mechanic? Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So that's one. That's this kind of one scenario. Do you have any other ideas to run on that?
I think probably the most important thing to say, instead of maybe even doing another role play, which we will. You guys can throw some questions out here, and we'll role play a totally different scenario. But I think it's important to understand what he did is he explained chiropractic, which most chiropractors. Hell, we had a new patient come in last night, and she's been going to chiropractors, what she said, forever. And so at first I was like, great, and then come to find out no one's ever taken an x-ray of her. She didn't know anything about her spine and her condition. She used chiropractic the same way someone would use massage therapy, and so I mean, it was just horrible. So I think the important thing to take away is that Dr. Braddock, in a really friendly, engaging way, was able to explain chiropractic. So number one, the person is like, well, yeah, that is important, so who is best at taking care of that if it's that important? Well, yeah, it's a chiropractor. And then giving them a little bit of common sense knowledge of, hey, listen, if you moved and you went and had your hair cut by 10 different people, you'd probably swear that for some of those people it was their first time to hold a pair of scissors. Doesn't mean that you can't ever get your hair cut, it's just that you need to go and find the right one.
Yeah. So you want to disarm the person, you want to understand where they're coming from, you want to say, hey, I get it, I'd be pissed too. And not that you're trying to throw another chiropractor under the bus, but if that chiropractor in this scenario did not explain whatsoever anything about chiropractic, and then adjusted the person without any explanation, well then, yeah, I mean, that person, that we don't like that. That's not okay. If you're out there doing that, you need to actually man up, be a professional, learn how to communicate your craft, and get people engaged into their own care. And that's what Legacy Gold is in and of a nutshell, is how to communicate what it is that you do, and be able to take something like that where you didn't just go, well, it's actually not bullshit. We help a lot of people. Chiropractic's actually really good, and you know, you probably just, no, it's not, you know, and you get into this argument.
Don't badmouth another chiropractor.
No, you never step on somebody else to pull yourself up.
You're not going to build yourself up by pushing someone else down. So, you know, like Dr. Braddock said when we were role playing, he said on that chiropractor's behalf, I'm going to go ahead and apologize for him. You know, and there's times where I find myself in the office saying, you know what, that, hey, he must have been having a bad day, or, you know, something, or, you know, I can't tell you how many patients I've had say, after that adjustment, I hurt so bad, I never went back. And it's like, well, did the chiropractor tell you that after that adjustment that you might be really sore? And most of the time they say no. And I was like, you know what? He must have just been having a bad day, and he should have told you that it is common after an adjustment to actually have increased soreness. It is something that can happen. So,
the more you try not to say something bad about any other doctor, much less a chiropractor, but even the medical doctor, that sometimes we feel like maybe are doing things that are harmful, or, you know, or just ludicrous, we never say that guy's an idiot. And it's like, you know what? I can't speak on his behalf. I don't know much about exactly what he told you. All I know is what we see here on these x-rays, and well, the one thing I know for certain is the type of care you're going to get here, and so that's what I want to focus on. And they're like, you know what, that guy could have took a moment to take the club out and bang on that other guy to make himself look better, but it never works. You never look better. And when you step back in that place of humility and say,
yeah,
I can't say anything bad about him. I don't know the situation there, but what I do know is this: that means a lot to patients.
And then, you know, that's powerful when you stop. That's a communication skill if you stop and think about it. Things that you actually didn't say that they know you could have said can make the biggest difference in the world. And so, guys, once again, I appreciate you watching these videos. Appreciate you liking them, sharing them with your colleagues. And
if you have a scenario like, well, I had a guy say this, I think you guys might struggle on that. Throw out some scenarios. We'll keep shooting videos. You know, as many scenarios as you have, we're happy to do this again.
Absolutely.
You guys have an awesome day. Hope you're enjoying practice. Hope you're getting something out of this, sharing it with your friends. God bless.
God bless.